All right, so I'm at the top of the hill with Ryan.
How's it going?
I'm gonna do a little test ride on this Capra Elite 29er 2020 version. Generally unchanged from the factory, a couple little exceptions, but it's interesting because I was watching a video and Aaron Gwynn was talking about how to test, and he said you got to ride your normal bike on trails that you know multiple times and then get on the test bike. So I've been riding the YT Izzo and the YT Decoy. Both are excellent climbers, one because the Izzo is light and fast, the Decoy because it has a motor. And so we're riding our normal trails, but we're experiencing a lot of new stuff with this bike. So it has the E13 carbon 29er wheels. I've never ridden on E13 carbon 29 front and rear. My Decoy has carbon front and rear, but it's a 27.5 in the back, so that's new. Never ridden the Fox 38 factory fork before, so that's new. I do have Code RSCs like this on most of my bikes. My downhill bike and my e-bike both have these. This is an old transfer dropper that I had off another bike. This one came with, it's a size medium. It came with 125 mil. And I'm riding a medium because frankly I like riding a smaller bike rather than large when I'm on the edge of the size. I'm 5'10", 32-inch inseam. But so I put a 150 on it. As you can tell by how much seat post there is, I could definitely be on like a 175 or a 200. A lot of people, that bothers them. I noticed since I ride my dirt jumper and my downhill bike, you know, the seat's kind of like up higher anyway. I'm just used to having a bit more seat coming out of the bike, so it doesn't bother me even on steep stuff. Plus I don't put my butt back over the back tire very frequently, even on big drops, because the bike has such a slack front end. I don't usually need to do that. And when I'm in the air, I don't mind having the seat up there. I use it between my knees. My normal Crank Brothers pedals. It has the new Float X2 shock, which I have a couple versions of the 2019 and previous Float X2. This one is very different to tune, since the high-speed rebound is like this little red knob jammed back in here, and it has more of a better lockout switch than the previous one, and it just adjusts different, totally different feel. I've got these Descendant carbon cranks on a couple of bikes, used to those. You might be noticing this guy, two things that are totally new. One is the SRAM AXS derailleur for 12 speed, and this is the new 52 tooth Eagle. So you can tell it's not my first ride on the bike. I did ride it at Sky Park a bit over the weekend. Had a blast. My son rode it. Tyler naturally crashed it because that's what he does. Crashes everything, but I guess I do too. So anyway, we're gonna ride it, and kind of windy, sorry, but yeah, we'll ride it and I'll talk about how all the different components come together and work. The first thing you notice is that the thing just wants to jump stuff, right? You rode it. Yeah. The thing just wants to jump.
It just goes.
Yeah. Oh, you rode the Decoy. You didn't ride this. Did you ride this?
I rode it a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
I jumped it actually.
That's right.
At Mr. Toad's.
That's right.
Yeah. It's just like landing on a pillow.
Yes.
And it's easy to control because it's so light.
Yes, that's true. And it rides way lighter feeling than what it is. I think the way that it's set up right now, it's like 31.5 pounds. We could get it lighter, but I've got a big old heavy Assegai on the front, and I really like that. I don't have cush cores in. I pretty much always ride with them because, you know, Southern California, rocky as hell. But and I also do have wireless droppers on my other two primary bikes. But I left this on because Ryan and Chris were like, the gold looks good.
It looks so good.
So I mean, it works awesome. This is the new controller, but this is the old dropper. And I do have the new dropper, but it's 125 mil. They seem pretty similar in operation, but the new one's easier to put the seat on. So, all right, I'll follow you. We'll just go down, we'll climb, descend, and at the top, a force of no name, we'll take a pause.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. So everybody's curious how the thing climbs. And I feel like it climbs pretty well, frankly. Yeah, I mean, so I have my rear unlocked right now, and I'm very comfortable with suspension work, so I'm gonna go a little slower than Ryan so I can keep my heart rate down and talk. But yeah, so I tuned up the suspension perfectly for me. I built a map out of it, and then I tuned it up for my son, Tyler, 110 pounds of him. I noticed that you have to ride with the compression fully open for the Fox 38 to work with a lighter rider. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. It's too much volume. This is what it loves, descending. So I have to be dangerous, or be careful, since I don't have cush cords in my rear. So this derailleur, you might notice, you can't hear it. It's insanely quiet. It quiets a bike down. So like, plain and simple, my opinion, I rode XTR for 2.5 years. I have an XT, I have an X01, and I have this AXS. And truth is, they're all awesome. The GX is awesome. Anything of GX level or above, and the XT and above is like insanely good. So the X is just for fun. It's just a frivolous waste of money because it's cool. Which, by the way, the AXS dropper, in my opinion, is better. Go to the left, Ryan. We can drop in from higher. So, I like the derailleur. It's accurate as hell. 5-minute install. In case you were wondering, like me, what I did with the cable, I just pulled it out. Kind of a commitment. It'd be hard to put back in, but I looked at it, I figured I'd be able to get it back in if I want a cable in there. So, when you're descending on this bike, you don't even know you're descending. Why don't you walk over a couple feet and look at that drop?
Okay.
It's the first of 2 drops. Yeah, so when you're descending, this thing just begs you to go faster. It gives you so much confidence. I mean, I'm new to 29ers. I've only been riding 29-inch bikes for 4 or 5 months. What do you think?
Doable.
Yeah, rideable, rollable for the first one. And then for the second one, much more dangerous. Okay. So maybe we'll pause at it and look. Cool. What session? We're testing a bike.
Exactly.
You want to follow me or you want to do it?
I'll go ahead. That work?
You got it.
Okay.
We practice drops at Sky Park. So Ryan's a pro now.
All right, ready?
Yeah. I followed you. That's amazing. That is hilarious. Always knuckleheads when the crew of us get together. So for me on this bike, I want to be going much faster than what we're going, but Ryan doesn't really know this trail. All right, the drop's right around this corner, Ryan. The Code RSC brakes, I mean, if you're used to Shimano, so that's a drop. You see how it's not a big drop. It's kind of high consequence.
Yeah.
Because you land into like the dumbest landing.
Yeah, that's sketchy landing.
Yeah. It's one of those things where if you were following me and I just hit it, you wouldn't think of it. Yeah. You can roll it as well. It's like a total OTB spot.
Yeah.
It's chill.
Okay.
But we'll skip it. We'll just keep testing the bike. So let me slip ahead of you.
Go ahead.
And then here, I'll just go down the drop at a 1 mile an hour, not clipped in pace. Perfect. So I can clip in. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Jeez, it's very loose. So anyway, the bike just feels like insanely nimble all the time. You know, it likes to boost corners. It likes to hit jumps a lot. And yeah, so the Fox 38, so like a lot of people are like, Fox 36, I rode the factory 36 for two years or something, a year and a half, I guess. People are like, what's the difference other than the 38 being heavier? Well, kind of a lot of difference. Some people have asked me, is it similar to a downhill bike? Absolutely not. Downhill bike travel is so long, 203 mil or 200 mil travel. The travel's so long that, all right, we'll go this way and just pedal for a sec. Nice job, dude. So the travel's so long on the downhill bike that to compress it off of jumps, you gotta like act like you're on a pogo stick and like push down hard as hell. But like on this, it will save your bacon the way that the downhill fork will. We'll circle around and we'll come down marbles. So it'll save your bacon on a big drop like a huck to flat.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, what you got?
How was the braking traction for you down that hole?
So good. I could control myself 100%.
Yeah.
What about you?
Couldn't control myself for sure.
You couldn't because of your suspension.
Yeah.
So Ryan's on entry-level build Stumpy, which, you know, whoa, speaking of traction, you see my front end sideways, whoops. So yeah, so as I was saying, when you huck to flat, the 38 cushions your landing like how a Fox 40 does. Fox 50, what am I talking about? But like a downhill fork. But it's punchy. So it's still like sporty and fun on the 38. So you still can like pop off of little stuff with ease. And yet, when it comes to enormous, like you way overshot it, what were you thinking, kind of landings, it just soaks it right up because it has a very progressive feel as you get deeper in the travel, which is basically perfect. So it gives you like super good small bump compliance, but then it'll also feel sporty and handle the big drops. It's like the perfect combo. So kind of a short little downhill we did to get all this fire road. We'll be back at a downhill in a minute. This AXS guy is nuts. Running the, oh my gosh, the AXS guy front and rear on my downhill bike actually. I just like it that much. Wouldn't make sense for here, too slow rolling. So a lot of people also put a coil spring on the back of this Capra, which is sweet. Not what I want to do because frankly I have a downhill bike and it has a coil spring with the Fox Factory DHX2. I want this thing to be sporty and light. Same reason I'm gonna walk and talk. Same reason I haven't put a cush core in it yet. I will for races, but so it's interesting because being 5'10", riding a medium, it's like feels like my tiny dirt jumper frame underneath me, but it feels super comfy. You know, sometimes with the large, like you see how Ryan's back is slightly curved forward, you know, but he's still pretty upright. Sometimes with the large, for me, the reach is too much, and I can't climb. Hurts my lower back. You know, I'm not gonna say it's an age thing, because I'm in pretty good shape, but as I walk my bike. But yeah, so it's a perfect combo of feeling both tiny, flickable, maneuverable, but also super confidence inspiring on gnarly parts. All right, time to ride in the little bit of itchy scratchies.
Yes, sir. You going right up here?
Yeah.
Cool.
Definitely not going up that ridiculous wall. That's for cross-country riders. That's for people who like a different kind of suffering. Yeah, so I thought a lot about the fact getting this bike. I really consider the fact that it's like a dated frame. You know, it's a bit aged, but that wasn't important to me. This frame works, and so like right now, that 52 tooth Eagle, I'm just chilling. It's amazing. And I guess something that Ryan pointed out is that he's on a 32 tooth front with a 50 in the rear, so he has the same exact drive ratio as I do in the granny gear. I just have a little more up top, which you can achieve that with the E13 cassette anyway.
Good riding.
Hell yeah.
That was awesome.
I'm out of shape from riding my e-bike too much.
That gives you an excuse to ride that more often.
Yeah, it's true. Sweet. Why don't you lead the way?
All right. Yeah, I noticed your traction
Yeah.
downhill and even uphill too was just yards ahead of mine.
Yeah, I mean, my suspension, so we're about the same weight,
Yeah.
which is great because we can test each other's stuff easy. He's on the RockShox Recon front, and the, what is that rear? The Manitou or something?
It's X-Fusion. I don't know
Yeah.
which model it is.
Yeah, so he's on an entry level suspension, and it also has 130 mil of travel. And so it's not going to be able to have that same sort of ability to do both small bump compliance
Exactly.
for cornering and pedaling up and all that, and also take big hits.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do it one way or the other. Either it's like kind of too soft to go on jumps, or it's like sprung too fast and too firm to really like enjoy,
Exactly.
you know. Not that the bike limits you.
No.
I mean, you can shred. So it's just little stuff we notice. We put an NX cassette from SX on Ryan's bike because that SX was like, it's just unusable.
ridiculous.
For you know, if you never crash it or really get it dirty, I think the SX would be okay for some riders. But you get crazy good value at NX
Yeah.
and GX.
Plus, if you're riding the heck out of your bike,
Yeah.
it wears easily.
And it annoys you.
Yeah.
When it's the most annoying thing when you're pedaling and your bike is clicking.
Yeah.
And you're like, ugh, like you're gonna hit your shin.
Exactly.
So, and Ryan, what does your bike weigh?
About 41 pounds.
It's 10-pound weight difference from this 170 mil travel Capra. Actually, that could be inaccurate. It could be a bigger weight difference.
Probably.
I haven't weighed it since I made a couple of changes to it. So, after you.
Shall we?
Yes. So yeah, the Code RSC brakes, for me, having ridden XTRs for a little bit, for a year and a half or so, they're like, it feels like the reach for your finger is super long. Takes a little getting used to, in my opinion, but they're super adjustable. So once you figure out how to adjust it, it works out awesome. So like for me, having 3 bikes that have these same brakes on, I can, like on the side of the trail, I can choose exactly where I want my contact point to be, and also a little bit loose, and also how far I want my reach to be. Ah, shit. I haven't quite memorized how this AXS shifter works, so sometimes I shift the wrong direction. It's like when Josephine and I, my wife and I, used to race motorcycles, street bikes, we would ride them GP shift style. So where like the shifting direction is upside down of street, and you put us on a normal shift bike, we could not operate it at speed. It's the same thing where with this thing, I went in the AXS app and I shifted, oh my Lord, who chose this route? I changed the direction one way and then the other, and I decided to stick with standard, but it is kind of weird. All right, I made that. Climbing, a lot of climbing for some enduro guys. Yeah, so the 2 complaints that people have with this bike are that it's not a good climber, and that it's not great at putting pedaling power down at race pace. Like, picture, I'll walk again so I can talk. Picture you're in an enduro race and the last mile is like a flat pedal. So, you know, you need the long travel to get over the features throughout the course, but then you're super happy to have short travel, like fast rolling, totally different bike setup through the bottom part. And the race, for a lot of races that we do, that I race very badly, the race is won in that last flat mile, not in the gnar. And so it's like, you know, how do you win? Do you go with a lighter weight tire and shorter travel bike, or, you know, full on downhill focused rig like this one? I don't know. I haven't done well in a single race yet, so I don't have an opinion. All right, let's go this way and ride the hip jump. So we'll test it on some jumping. We've definitely done the most climbing I've ever done in a video. I'm trying to talk while panting. We'll do the hip jump and then we'll go down the bridge gate downhill, which is like super technical and gnarly. Perfect test. Or, you know what? Forget jumping. We already know the thing jumps amazing. We'll go to the downhill. Otherwise, it's gonna be boring. Riding with me is super boring when I'm just climbing. Okay. Plus, there's a jump at the bottom of it. Okay. Will you mind holding on to it for a sec? Thanks. Yeah, so it's impressive to me. Just the Fox 38, the new cassette, the wireless shifter, everything combined. What do I hate about it? I hate that it seems like an engineering flaw. I know it doesn't bother me to ride, but it bothers me to look at it. So like most bikes for my body size, you don't need anything over 150 mil but the trend now is longer droppers. So like you've got a 150 mil, right?
Yeah.
It's about right. It's a little bit sticking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got, you know, TRAN out of transfer sticking out of my seat tube. So, but the bike rides shockingly light. Really, it rides like some of the like 26, 27 pound short travel bikes that we've had. It feels that maneuverable in the air. Thank you.
Yep.
It feels super maneuverable on the brakes.
Yeah.
It's super fast acceleration. Speaking of the brakes, I'm gonna bring this lever a little closer. You can see some scratches there from my son flipping it over. Always something. Okay, so this is like a black diamond level to, some might argue double black, but I wouldn't. I would say black diamond downhill trail, 4 minutes down or something off the top of my head.
A lot of chunk.
Yeah, like nasty wheel braking shit. There's a huge flip you over rock, like 25 feet down. I usually bunny hop, but that's about it. Would you mind if I follow you?
You wanna follow me?
Yeah.
Sure.
Open up the old suspension. Let's party.
Ready?
Yep. All right. Following Ryan. Give him a sec, because I'm faster. If I can stay focused. That's funny. Okay. We need to soften up the front end a little. It's fewer clicks than on the last year model, on the 36. It's kind of cool. Trying to like be thoughtful, to not break my new wheels on the fourth ride or whatever. Very cool. All right. Yeah, so push core is going to be a must for riding out here. I've got way too much air in the tires just to protect the rim a little, and it really detracts in a big way from the traction. Push core just for our types of conditions, we need it. If we live somewhere loamy, I wouldn't care at all, but you can see what this is. It's like nastier than normal out here today. Nice riding, Ryan. He's killing it. He's riding way faster than I expected. This part's the dangerous part. That OTBs everybody. Oh no, not this part. Is it? Yeah, this move here. That one little rock gets everybody. Down a little so I can see. And then, yeah. down again so I can see. Sick. There's another way to go down, but it's so chunky, it's not even fun. So yeah, we rode a little somewhat flowy part, very chunky part, climbed a lot. I'd say this thing's easy to ride. 30% sag in the fork is kind of a must for this big beefy guy. Let's jump.
Let's jump.
Let's jump. Let's see what I can do to crush my suspension. Push the rings down, take a look. After you. It's like a little rock we built that some teenage boys maintain. Little chain whip. Dude, you look good. He's so chilling on jumps nowadays, dude.
I know, dude.
So Ryan did his first real jumps like weeks ago. Now he jumps like a master. Let me hit that again. Hit it kind of short. We can do better. Yeah, so it's like super ghetto 8-inch high jump. Yeah.
How would it feel on that enduro course?
My tires are way overinflated for what I like. I've got like 26 in the front, 27 in the back. I usually want to ride like 22 in the front.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference. So my traction was less than ideal, but it's still fun. Nice. Some kids cheering for us. It's the best. Anyway, yeah, so all in all, here's what I would say. Comparing it to my Izzo, sucks to climb because it's a 170 mil bike. But comparing it to a normal 170 mil bike, climbs great. Comparing it to the Stumpy, admittedly heavy aluminum base model Stumpy, what do you think? I mean, it's like, what are the major differences between an entry-level bike and a super bike?
I think just maneuverability, small bump compliance. When you're hitting those, like on that trail where it's loose, bumpy, sharp corners, this just, you can corner with confidence way better. Small bump compliance, like I said. Traction, even climbing traction, and overall climbing, I feel like since mine's so heavy, that would probably climbs just as good as this. Yeah,
I think it climbs well compared to your bike.
Yeah.
Compared to the best climbing 170 mil enduro bikes, it's a tough call. I spent a lot of time on the Ibis Ritmo. I think climbs like an animal. Some bikes do, but you know, if you want the world's best climber, get something with 150 mil travel or less.
Exactly.
If you want to be able to like shred ridiculous, stupid jumps like what we like to do, and have a bike you can ride at the bike park / real jumps that local knucklehead people like us built, and or anything in between, this is the jam. If you live someplace where there are not nasty trails like what we just rode, and also big jumps, drops, stuff like that, this is not for you.
No.
It's overkill.
Overkill.
If you're not going to be getting, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus feet of height in the air, at least 2 feet of height in the air, it depends, it's all relative to you. I've only been jumping for a number of months myself, but it's going to be overkill. So I would say, like, most places, this is not the bike. But if you want to race enduro and you want to have something that can ride literally anything anywhere in the world, this thing is amazing. And the value of it at like $6,000 or whatever, I mean, a comparable bike of most other brands would be like $9,500 and up.
I was gonna say, it can't be YT value.
Yeah.
What you get with that price is top of the line.
Which enables me to buy a really stupid AXS derailleur that I found on sale online for $800. Still a ton of money, you know. So yeah, that's kind of where I land on it. It's for a specific type of rider that is willing to go slow or walk their bike like a turd like me in order to just shred downhill. That's what this thing is for. And for that, and for the value for what it can do, it's basically unmatched. That's it.
So I couldn't agree with you more.